somewhere. All right, not too much AI today. We've talked a lot about that lately in our viewers. We talk about AI every day. Because our viewers aren't thoroughly, they want to know what Solana is going to do today and XRP is going to do today. What? Wait, spell that word deep what? Well, he has a lot of people that work for him. They probably learned something new from you and said, hey. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the great digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another show here on this great network here. And I couldn't do that without my wonderful co-host, Pedro Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro Garcia. Good, man. It was busy. Had the in-laws in town for a birthday, so Mrs. Striking and I were going at it, having fun, eating too much, celebrating, all that type of stuff. Took my eye off the crypto ball for the weekend, but then came back to it and noticed that not just everything was down, but everything was down. So we'll talk about that today. We'll also talk about how my green screen is once again fading me all the way out here today. But Pedro, how was your weekend? You seem to have paid attention more to crypto than that, but what'd you do outside of crypto? That's good. That's good. But then you did keep your eye on crypto a little bit. And it turns out, man, this market sucked. Well, I should say if you're just a spot trader, it sucked. But if you're a futures trader, market seemed to be good. Went down a lot, lots of volatility. The VIX has gone through the roof on the SIBO thing. I did pay attention to a little bit of stuff, but so that's good for the day traders. I'm making money. But what else is going on with the market and BTC and all that kind of stuff? What's going on this week, Pedro?
And you know what? We like what they're doing. If you could, over there on Rumble, please interact with us. Log in. Do us a solid by simply just coming in, letting the algorithm know, hey, these guys are legit, so they can boost us up over at Rumble. If you want to send us a rant, listen, and tell us what to rant about, we would love to. In addition to that, to the guys over on X, thank you so much for watching us as well. So much. Please, again, hit that share button just to get our names out. We're really trying really hard. We bring you real forward-thinking information. We've talked about DeepSeek. We've talked about the market, about a bunch of stuff. And, and I know a lot of the kind of some big guys, I think, watch us, or at least some of the people, the plebs who maybe do their research are following us. But if you guys could do us a favor and shout us out, man, that would really be appreciative. We're a small show, you know what I'm saying? And if you guys, if you use our information, I'm so cool with that. Information is information. But if you could give resources where you
please like, share, and comment, just do it.
So please mention where you guys get the information, and I really would appreciate that. Some of you guys are using the actual very words that are coming out of my mouth, which is not common in the crypto world or in the trading world. So it was kind of cool to hear you guys mention how I talk. So anyways, I would appreciate it. All right, let me jump into this here real quick, BTC. So BTC, we talked about last time was on Thursday, and we talked about capturing a long, right? We said, all right, I expect the market to come back down to this area and to see it push up. So this was on Thursday. This was the trade. I said here, our zone is right here, and we want to capture at least a 2-to-3 ratio. And the biggest key is this, is as soon as, and we talked about this, as soon as this starts to show some strength, we want to capture, right, a pullback to the 8. And I said we want to put our stop at the local low, not at the end of the zone, but the local low. So this is actually was the trade. It came into our zone here, boom. You saw how it came above that 8-period moving average, came back, retested the 8, and we saw it go up. It only went up for 3 candles. One of the biggest things I talk about is if we do a 1x to 2x, you want to take out 70% of your trade, right? Talk about that very clear. Take your profits, boom, leave 30% potentially to see it come back and test. The key is, I always talk about, if we come down into that 8 period to see if it's going to test, we want to see this trade find support as it comes by and test that 8. But it did not. We saw a very small amount of volume come in, especially the next candle right here that we saw, right, with a very small amount of green volume, which would basically mean that the buyers were weakening and could not get behind this trade. So this area here would have told you, hey guys, our stop is going to go right here or right here, okay, where would be the local low. And then in additionally to that, we would want to capture a 2 to 3x. So from here to here, you would have had a 2.5x. So there would have been the 70% layoff, take profit area. And then you saw it went against us, right? Boom. So we saw it come back down, tapped out, took out all the shorters here, and then we saw it just kind of consolidate until we saw again, tried to test the highs again here, right? For that previous, it was a daily wick that we saw, couldn't get above it, right? Or slightly took out all of the shorts here, right? And basically, there are a lot of buys sitting right here where the institutions then said, hey, I'm going to go on the other side now because there's a lot of buys here, and I'm going to absorb those with shorts. And so we saw that exact thing. We talk about this a lot. This is the trading psychology that we mentioned quite a bit, right? Multiple times throughout the whole entire time I've been on this helping you guys out. So exactly.
Welcome, Roland Rod, to the
It
show.
stumped everybody out literally by a tick, or what is $1, maybe $2.
Man, I don't know how many times I've been stopped out just by one tick. You're just, and my orders are small, you know, and it's just that one tick, and I'm like, come on, guys, and then it rockets right up, and I would have made $100.
Well, and this is where my biggest thing is. That's why I always say we want to wait until the trend kind of starts, right? We talk about this a lot. Is I just don't jump into a trade. I wait for a trade to communicate to me that it wants to move. So I'll wait until I see real buyers step in, like right here. We saw it get above V8. And we can see here how real buyers started stepping in as we started seeing the actual green volume here. It's a kind of it's not a simple trade, but if you go back and back test this, you can sit there and see it. Boom. So we can see it kind of came up, found support here, started to go up. We saw resistance, we saw support come in, and boom, you can capture that part. If you jump right at the tip or right at the beginning of that zone, you don't know if they're going to do this exact situation where they come in, stop you out, then take it in your direction. That's why I always wait until the continuation of them pushing it into a direction. Again, this is elite level trading, okay? Because we don't have billions of dollars to turn the market, so you don't try to catch the top. You say, okay, we're breaking, we're not putting in supply wigs, so potentially we're going to see a drop and then a pullback, but while it's dropping, we want to take part in that directional move, right? And so we keep a trending mechanism. It doesn't matter if you use the 8 or whatever you use. You use the, I mean, there's so many I've used throughout the years. I've literally just broken it down to just the 8 period moving average. But whatever one you use that trending mechanism, whether it's Bollinger Bands, whether it's awesome indicator, whether it's, what else, some of the ones that are really out there that are big. Whether you use Bob Dunn's below or above, and that's a lot of people who watch, like who are part of OTA, which is one of the largest trading educational firms out there until they got busted. But a lot of people know, and if anybody followed that, Bob Dunn
Until
was
they got busted.
Bob Dunn was a legit trader. I know Bob Dunn personally. He may not have been the best at it, but man, that man was a trader, and he was good, and he was legit. So shout out again to the late and great Bob Dunn. But one thing that he always said to me is the trend is your friend until the bend at the end. And so one of my biggest things that I bring up is this, is as the market starts to turn around, we see it pull back up into that trending mechanism that you use, whether that's going up then coming back down, trying to capture the move up, or whether it goes down first then to come up to capture the trend down again. You want to wait to really a retest of your trending mechanism to indicate to you that you actually have a continuation of that trend that wants to move in your direction. That's huge, right? And then in that, you know, okay, we're starting to see agreement or confluence with other trading mechanisms that actually really help. So that's it in a nutshell. So when I look at Bitcoin right now that we went over the trade that we talked about, so we made a little bit of money, didn't do exactly what I thought it was going to do. I expected it to come up to here and test that 115, but lo and behold, DeepSeek went through and really kind of changed the market at large. And it was really interesting that we saw that the VIX, right? And we went over this on Technical Tuesday, the VIX, VIX. Come on, where are you at, dude? VIX. This just gonna even play for me. All right, so the VIX on Thursday or on Tuesday was right here, right? We saw it sitting right here. It was below. We saw it consolidate here, but look, because of DeepSeek and what was actually happening here, it just skyrocketed. One being the tremendous stuff that was actually coming out of DeepSeek. It is a lot. It is light years. It looks like light years better. And they are so far in advance with the energy usage of it that the reality is we're going to see what happens. And I know a few people who've actually started to use DeepSeek and said the coding on it was phenomenal. I mean, we're talking a lot better than what we saw with OpenAI and a lot of the other stuff. So it was a pretty legit project that they developed. And here's the part that was so different is you could download it locally, and then when you need to use the API, but you could also just download it and use it personally, which I thought was so interesting. So it was one of those things that I was like, well, this can't be good because this is coming literally from our our competitor, right? Our frenemy, as you would say, the CCP. So it's one of those things I think was really interesting. And in that, we saw BTC sell off because we saw what happened with NVIDIA and everything that followed in suit, because the NVIDIA stock basically spends all this money on its height to do amazing. Well, and we've talked about this. I said, guys, there's got to be something that's going to come along that will fly in the face of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is just too gangbusters. And there's something that's going to come along. We talked about this. I didn't say what it was going to be, but we knew. And Tom, can you do me a favor? Did we load up all of our stuff in that AI yet?
No, I'm working on it. I've had to collate our giant list of videos into a manageable one to upload.
Got you. Okay.
Using the free version, you can only do so much at a time, but it's getting there.
So it was just really interesting, because in that I just want to simply ask it, when did we mention the aspect that NVIDIA should go down? I think it was around here. It was a few weeks ago. So I said they can't be this juggernaut for this long. It's just technology is too quick in advancement, and I expect something to come along. And sure enough, we've seen it now. So it doesn't, video cards doesn't mean a better and faster AI system. So it's going to be real interesting to see how the industry comes back. Are they going to lie to themselves? We've talked about this on multiple times, that China literally has put $3 trillion into AI since Trump's first year in office, in his first term. We're talking that's almost 9 years. That's $27 trillion. That, and including this, will be $30 trillion that they would have put into the market.
That's a lot.
So that is in one industry, dude. all of literally the U.S. market is about $4 or $40 trillion. They did 2 or 3/4 of its market cap, okay, into one specific industry, AI development. I knew something was going to come. I was like, there's not, with all that amount of money, they've got to be developing something. There's no way. And I thought it was the surveillance state. And I think part of that is definitely there. But also, they built that out maybe got done with it about 4 years ago, right? I mean, we know that they are just, that's why Biden was sitting there paying attention to how they were trying to do it. They even incorporated some of the techniques that the CCP actually developed in China, and started using it on us. And that will sooner or later come out. You'll watch my words. We will see something. But on the back end, though, this is what I think is so interesting, is that now that they realize there's something out there, NVIDIA is going to go on attack mode, and they're going to figure this out. And I bet you we're going to see multiple companies, and we've already talked about a few here. And Tom, we were just talking about it off air, the heat seek, or not the not heat seek. Why am I calling it heat seek, bro? The technology that basically redistributes heat and mechanisms. And you were saying that they actually developed that how many years ago?
I first saw it in 2009, and the guy had been working on it for a while. But he licensed the technology from some other company to try and bring it to the automotive industry. And the automakers were like, nah, it's not
the most silliest thing. Why wouldn't they? Because they won't.
Just they didn't think that it was worth ripping up all their factories to change it. And they're still on the fence about that with just regular electric cars, never mind advanced ones. I mean, Ford put the brakes on their electric car stuff. And it's just because people weren't buying them. You know, the government gave them all this incentives to build battery plants, and then they built the infrastructure, and then car dealers were calling up saying, people aren't buying this shit. It's still too expensive and not enough chargers. It's still a lot. They're still selling a lot of them. But to pay for those massive factories they have and all the workers, that Ford, they pulled back. So did GM.
Yeah, GM.
And with the current administration in, we'll probably see, the electric vehicles will come back based on consumer acceptance rather than being forced on people. As soon as they can drive 1,000 miles on a charge, then gas cars are over. It's just they're done.
Well, and this is the other part right now, like the idea that we have really just started the AI age, right? Like I think the DeepSeek upfront technology here, we've been climbing up to it, but there's this moment in time where we see, right, like the nuclear age started at the Manhattan Project, right? But prior to that, we saw there was a lot of science, a lot of stuff talking about, and even, smaller organizations talking about nuclear, right? But it was at the moment when they started that program I would say that's when the nuclear age started. This moment, or Sputnik, the next one was really Sputnik, right? When the next age of advancements was when Russia came out and basically was like, we did this, and we were like, oh shoot. So again, all the money went into, whether you believe we got to the moon or not, I'm not getting into that. What I am getting into is that did start this idea that we got to progress, and ask not what your country can do for you, but do what you can do for your country by really contributing to the American dream. Right? In the same sense that really started that movement of space age, this next period in time is AI and Stargate movement forward here. So we're going to see it emerging. And in that process, we're going to see better equipment. We'll say this, but who knows? Right, but we could see some major movement based off of battery usage and the more efficiency of it. And if we can get that, if it can get going, we should see a huge progression in rockets and a lot of the stuff that Elon is doing, in addition to other organizations are doing as well. And competition is always better for the consumer. So I do like what DeepSeek did. I think what they did is legit. I don't think it's a lie. I think there's a big, huge narrative, because I have friends of mine who did download it locally and started using it and was like, dude, this thing is phenomenal. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah, like, dude, like this thing, like, and it's a decentralized system. He goes, there are a lot of crap with it that I don't like, right, that they were saying, but there are a lot of things that they do like. Like if you ask, is Tenement Square, did that actually happen? And granted, the decentralized AI system is a Chinese-based AI company, but in the same sense, they've got to follow their own country's rules, just like how our AI companies have to follow rules here, right, under the previous administration. It's still one of those things that it's a crazy time, man. It's a crazy time. And so, speaking of that, NVIDIA is coming close to our first target that we've talked about, the 109, area to the 107 area. So if you're looking to be picking up NVIDIA, this would be that first kind of area that we're looking to pick it up. We just blew through it. And this is key, really important here. If we close above that 200 period moving average sitting right here, then with a good amount of volume, if we go up into the market, if you pay attention to the futures, we go up into the evening, into the futures, expected to go down in the morning and see a continuation of this fall. So obviously today isn't over. We still have half the day of the trading range. It's still picking up with seller volume here. So I'm expecting to see, the continuation of the 15-minute trend, the 15-minute trend and the 30-minute trend. If we break above the 30-minute into the hour chart 8, as we start to see it come here, then kind of expect a pullback, right? But if this thing stays above right here or just kind of chills and consolidates and waits for the 8, then on the hour and 2 hour, then I would expect it to continue down into the evening, if not into the morning, tomorrow morning, evening. It just depends on what we're going to see, right? See it go up, then go down. So it's going to be real interesting as we start to move forward here. That's about it in a nutshell for NVIDIA. But I really love to see how Bitcoin has really reacted to this news. We saw the huge sell-off into Sunday evening, right? Everybody's like, oh no, it's the end of the world. And actually, it was funny. I was on I went into a few because everybody's like, why is everything selling off? And I said, guys, don't freak out. If it sells off, which I've said multiple times, right? If we see it sell off on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, what should we see it do by the end of the week?
Go up!
Go up, baby. And so we're still seeing it. Smart little, it's kind of consolidating here, kind of hanging out and chilling. So I think it's a good sign that, hey, it's definitely not like the rest of the market that we're watching with the S&P and NASDAQ. So it's one of those things that it's just kind of real interesting to see what's happening. I expect it to maybe continue down into Monday, and then Tuesday potentially find support and see it bounce from there. Now, where is that support that we're expecting it to see? Let's check it out. So we've talked about a few of these smaller areas here, right? One being that 89 area and one being the 100 period moving average on the daily. I would expect us to see us come back down here and find buyers and sellers here. That would be really the first place I'd be looking for us to continue down to. But the next spot after that, again, is down at the $85 and $75 area, simply because there's just a lot of buyers. One being you have your 200 daily period moving average, which is an institutional buy area. So when it comes down to that area, to the 200, this is where you'll see a lot of buyers. So that's why for me, I'm looking at going, you know what? We should expect to see at least some form of a test to that 76 area. This is if we continue down, right? And we start to see it come down to. We could again have a flash crash, another thing that happens. Obviously, the U.S. is trying to mitigate what's actually happening with DeepSeek and basically kind of cutting off their API from U.S. Usage, which is stupid because anytime you take things away from Americans, what do?
They go around it. They seek it out. They create a black market in it. They get what they want. You can't.
Yeah. They get what they want. And this is the thing. And are you going to vilify the very people who are trying to support you? That's dumb. What they need to do, again, now this is they need to sit there and say, okay, Elon, okay, Mr. ChatGPT, dude, you said you were the best, and obviously you're not. And we're watching a lot of people use these areas, and it's pretty awesome. So you need to figure that out, and we're going to open this up and just warn Americans, look, be careful. When you download it to your system, just understand you're downloading companies, and not like we haven't done this in the past, because we've done this just simply using, what's the word I want to use? Drones. The majority of the drones, pretty much all the drones are made in China. So the reality is when you download those apps to control the the drones, you download Chinese mechanisms that allow them to get into your phone and everything. Just like, this is the other part I didn't understand, is people were talking about literally TikTok, but they didn't talk about the drones. They didn't talk, there's like all these small details.
Or
that
a
are
phone that's made in China.
Dude, there you go. Like there it is right there, right? So there's just so many little mechanisms that it's just.
I mean, my phone actually is Chinese. The brand is made in China. At least with the iPhone, some of them are made in mainland China. Some are made in Taiwan. But still, you have to assume that those companies are compromised too. So it's kind of, until we get completely U.S.-based phones with U.S.-based chips, which is, what, 15 years away, maybe?
Maybe, bro. That's on a good... Well, honestly, wait, let's backtrack. If Trump removes a lot of the red tape and the bureaucracy that correlates around all of that,
right,
we could see that within 4 years. Like, balls to the wall, let's make this happen with what he's trying to do with energy usage and open that up. And like I've talked about that company multiple times with, if they learn actually how to mitigate heat through electronic systems, that could even propel us even further, much quicker, right? But like you said, if things don't change, 15 years, probably. Like they can all.
It's like when President Trump was just out in Los Angeles, and they're talking about the permit times to rebuild and all that. And first of all, I don't believe they should rebuild at all. They should just give them their insurance money and FEMA money and whatever, and just don't use that land again because it's just going to burn again. But anyway, that's not the point. But he's like, well, we're just waiving all the federal permits and all that. And a lot of them are environmental. People can't go clean up their houses because it's an environmental hazard now. They say, well, it's a hazardous waste site, and so you got to get permits from blah blah blah. And they listed all these places, and one of them was a minimum of 18 months. And we saw famously the mayor said, oh well, we'll be on top of that. And Trump just said, whoa, a guy whispers in Trump's ear, and then Trump says, wait a minute, still 18 months. If they actually can waive those and get things going immediately, then they have the wherewithal to do that in manufacturing. And if they can do that in manufacturing and just say, look, we've got a national emergency. I realize the spotted smelt fish bird is going to suffer from this, but we need to get these things built. Let's go at it at the same time. You guys build the factory. You guys figure out how to minimize the damage to the smelt fish bird, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Stegosaurus thing, and do something there. But we can't be doing this linearly, in which we wait 15 years for educational or environmental assessments on things that are national security related. I mean, if you want to build a chemical plant that's just going to build chemicals to make plastic bags and Teflon coatings for your pans, okay, do the environment first, because that stuff's proven to be horrible. but anyway, if it's our national security, let's get that shit going. Let's get it going. Fix the stuff later. Anyway, Pedro, we've got a big crowd in the house from some group known to be the Patient Zero group.
What's up, Patient Zero? I saw you guys, man. You guys are killing that. Appreciate having you guys here. How'd you guys find us? Where was it that you guys...
Jesus gave them the business and said, y'all better get your butts in here. Actually, he used the Spanish accent. Get your butts in here, man. He's his Peru accent.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, glad to have every one of you guys here. Mr. Bizzels, good to have you again, as always. Who else? Who else is in the house here?
Infineon Jim, Mr. Bitzel. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Ka-ching, I left you out of the park here. Good day, everyone. Ka-ching coming to us from the great state of Minnesota.
Yo, we got to shout out Dr. J too, man.
Dr. J in the house, along with Fire Chicken over on Rumble.
As well as we've got Chris Maygard. I always mess it up.
Yeah, from Doge and BSC.
Yep. Good to have you, brother, as always. Kicking booty.
Roland Rod says, big crypto market sale. Load up, everybody. Load up. Pedro, before we get over to Patient Zero's thing, I just wanted to briefly talk about, maybe you can help me understand this. Hold on, let me turn that off. Turn that off, bring this on. help me figure this out. Recently, as you know, I've thrown shine or shade to XRP and Ripple for a long time. And then they promptly made me eat my words by 5xing or 6xing, whatever they did. And they turned their money printer on. And they were operating independently of Bitcoin. They were doing their own thing. Everything was great with them. They pulled off their big sale a little bit, people taking profits, that type of stuff. All was good, all was normal. Price went from 50 cents to $3, and then it's backed off to, or $3.40, now it's backed off to $2.90 or something. Still, huge win for the XRP and Ripple people. Last night, when, as I say, the Asian market started to tank Bitcoin, I noticed XRP started following the Bitcoin dominance, and that was the thumbnail I put up today of a person it was supposed to be tripping over the Bitcoin, but it looks like they got tripped over the Bitcoin. And what I didn't understand is if XRP spent so much time being independent of Bitcoin, why did it, within a very short period of time, just drag it right back in? Same with XLM, Stellar. They just followed the Bitcoin. I was watching them on a chart next to each other like this. And it was almost tick for tick going down. Tick, 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 tick. And I talk a lot about basket trading and that type of stuff. And so big guys are selling billions of dollars. They sell everything. But I mean, Bitcoin was too dominant on that. And I was like, you know what? I need to ask Pedro about that. Why is it so dominant after it shows so much independence?
Well, because when you consider this idea, before you really... okay, so I was on the Shogun show, right? I'm going to bring this up because it's really important. Okay. We saw... I think it was on the 15th. I think it was that Wednesday. We had this big, huge, it was in that evening. And somebody asked me and said, Pedro, what are your thoughts on XRP? And so Shogun was actually, he just told me, I was about to cut you off, man. It was getting too boring. But I said to him, listen, we've had this huge push up, much like we saw with Solana. It was coming near the all-time highs. And I said, it's going to be really important to see how they play with that all-time high here. Because are they going to sell off here, or are they going to find support and then continue it up, right? Because there was going to be major stops hit at this level. And so we're going to see the other end where the banks, like we just talked about earlier, how they wait for a high, all those shorts get stopped down, and then what happens to take the other side of the buyers, right? So you have buyers on this side, because whenever somebody shorts, you have to buy back the market, okay? Right. Whenever to get out, whether it's down at the target or it's at the stop. Either way, you're buying it back. So what happens is as those buys get hit, the institutions say, ooh, orders. And then they meet those orders. Again, these are all algorithmic. And so when they have all those buyers come in, you have sellers come in, and it drops the market. That's the mindset of the algorithm. And so when we see that, I said, what you want to be paying attention to, and I said this on Shogun Show, I said, you want to be paying attention to the 8. I said, right now on the 4 hour, we are trending off of it. And I took a picture on his show, and I put it in the comment section, and I said to him, I said, be paying attention. If we break that 8-period moving average on the 4 hour, as we peak right here, and I said to him, I said, it's going to be really important that you pay attention to this level here. And I marked it out here. So this would have been, Thursday, excuse me. It was Thursday night, not Wednesday night. And I said, if we come back into this area here and we don't hold here, as we continue up, expect it to sell. So this came down, held here a little, but you can see it broke it, then it violated, and we saw then the continuation, right? And so I said, when you see this, be ready for it to go. Now you're like, Pedro, but I was just talking about dominant. What's the point? Why did you even go here? Because here's the thing. They first need to get into a market scalable wise, right? And so right now, what's happening is institutions are going through, and whenever, let's say, I'm going to tell you NVIDIA, Okay, NVIDIA right now is one of the top stocks out there with the biggest market capitalization. Tesla, again, is a huge juggernaut in the tech industry, and in addition to that, it's a huge market cap. So what they want to do is they want to align themselves at a percentage level. So what they'll do is they add into that position until they've got enough percentage wise where they have in their portfolios, let's say 50% of the portfolio is Bitcoin, 20% of that portfolio is Solana, 15% is XRP or whatever it would be, right? But they have to accumulate it for it to happen that way, right? And then once they balance that right, it's called portfolio balance, I forget the exact words, it's percentage portfolio balance. Then what they do is then they're able to do this type of thing where they can get, just like right now, when you look at, we'll say Solana follows Bitcoin now, right? And so they were able to really kind of buy in at these levels while it was going up and Bitcoin was consolidating. They were buying, then now they're able to do this. So they can cyclical. One of the things that I do in the morning is when I trade, I want to see where we're starting typically first thing in the morning, 8:10, we know that copper opens up, right? So copper is one of the first commodities that open up. So you see around 8:30, and then 8:20, you have gold, you have currencies, and a few other things that open up. And then at 9 o'clock, you have the energies. And then at 9:30, you actually have the S&P 500 futures that open. These are all futures and commodities. They open at different times. And in this process, what you do is you see money go in, and then you see money come out. And it goes into another product where then it goes, where they mark it up or drop it. And so you almost have like this wave going on, and the markets are doing this type of thing, right? And yes, they're non-correlated, but they are also correlated because money's coming in and out and they're rebalancing their portfolios. In the same sense, this is what we're seeing with crypto. We're seeing this idea of the institutions really coming in and rebalancing and making sure they have hedge off and hedge on certain areas so that they can gauge which way the market comes. Because again, there's new fundamentals that are being created in crypto. Obviously, like if you're a value investor, then go through and you can apply some of, but then some of them just, like value, like certain aspects of value investing isn't necessarily going to correlate with crypto market right now. But as it matures and progresses, it will start to see a congealing of it. And so it's just one of those things we're going to start seeing. That's why now that it's starting to follow intact with Bitcoin, it's because they're balancing. I won't say they're finally balancing, but they're balancing that mechanism so that whenever they're looking to move money in and out and money in, and at the end of the week, they take profit in all the positions that they have, and then they start over again on Sunday night. And we'll since crypto is 24/7, yeah, it would still start at Sunday night because the new week.
Right.
Yeah, I feel silly now. Yeah, but in the same sense, so that's what we're accepting. I know that was a long thing, but I want to bring you a good understanding of what is happening in the market, what we're seeing, so that you can start to gauge and have your mind think correctly. So when the market is pushing up, they're like, oh, what does Pedro say when the market's going to all-time highs? Expect some form of pullback. Don't top off. Do not top off. Who am I going to yell at right now when I'm talking about top off?
Michael Saylor.
Sailor, do not top off. Stop. My boy over at Shalom, my brother. Why am I forgetting his name? Jake Gagan. Stop topping off. Okay, they're gonna sell on you because institutions are involved now. My man. That's if he's listening to us. But or all my boys out there like Shogun, Zach Humphreys, all you guys, look, you don't got the buying power. You don't, because their system is completely rigged. You don't get to, they do not play by the same rules as us. They play by a 10-to-1 ratio, meaning when they take one step, Okay? It's like taking 10 steps for every one of us. It's like if I got 10 steps and they just take 1 step because they don't need access to the amount of money that we do to move the market.
Pedro's
They
talking
need
about
maybe,
futures markets.
it doesn't even matter anymore. Dude, they're in this. Dude, like they've been buying Bitcoin at OTC, over the counter. They're not buying in open market. They're putting in trillions of dollars into this and then converting it to the idea of ETFs, which again is not even a proper ETF, because the ETF is literally a basket of stocks that are sold on the open market.
Welcome, Alpha, to the show. Thanks for joining us. Pedro, I think what you're talking about a little bit there with Saylor and the market goes to Plutobolic's question. He asked, why doesn't BTC moon when Saylor buys billions worth of Bitcoin? I'll give you my answer for that first, and then Pedro will mention his too. And it's because he doesn't buy enough. The Bitcoin market is much larger than Saylor. And when you look at the daily volume for Bitcoin, it's in the many billions of dollars traded. And so the market's very liquid. So if he wants to invest $1 billion, he can do that. He's also not buying it all at once in one giant trade. First of all, if you're a good, if you're provide or practice safe sex, CEX, and safe buying, you don't do everything in massive transactions. You do much smaller ones, or break it up and say in case something goes wrong.
Yeah,
even in Bitcoin, a UTX, whatever it is, can go awry now and then, and it takes a while for it to the system to figure it out and confirm your trade. And you might have $1 billion in limbo for a couple of blocks. You don't want that. And so he doesn't move it very often. And he also kind of does it, from what we can tell, he does it from known wallets. And so the market takes the counter side to those. The banks, like Pedro's mentioned 85 times on here, when Saylor goes on to talk or on to buy, the banks are like, and institutions are like, liquidity, and then they sell. And that's why it always looks like Saylor is buying the top, because he puts in $1 billion, but the banks take that $1 billion and then sell it further off to drive the price down, and then they buy back at a lower price.
And here's the thing: when Bitcoin sells off, Tom, you hit it, nailed it. I don't even need to elaborate on it. You did perfect. When Saylor gets involved and he starts to top off there, what happens is, it's not that they're being evil. It's that they're always having to put their clients in good positions, right? So imagine I'm a billionaire and I give, or I have multi-billions of dollars, and so I tell Goldman Sachs, hey, I want to create a sovereign wealth fund for this, this, and this. Can you help me out? And they go, yeah, most stuff. So Goldman Sachs gets a 3% vig on that, okay, on that buy and sell, right? Or whatever it be, right?
Yeah, whatever.
And
it is.
Plus, yeah,
it's a lot over the long term, many trades.
There you go. And this is the key: is that so if I see, and sometimes they have to hold on to that money for a while, because they tell the clients, all right, this is a big portion. We're not just going to buy in on the market. So they wait for things like this, and so they actually will cause Saylor to come into the market to literally top it off, because they know he said, I'm going to top off the market now every time. And so they're like, great, that's perfect. We'll be able to push it up with small amounts of money. Then what they do is they sell to Saylor, all right, with extra cash. Then it goes 5-10%, like retracement. Now you gotta also understand, a 5 to 10% retracement in the stock market changes the world. 5%, 10% pullback from Bitcoin is just a hiccup. So, good.
Plutoholic right here, this number. I don't have it labeled. I need to update my chart here. This $83 billion number right here for Bitcoin, that's its past 24-hour volume. And to be honest, I don't know if that's just spot market, if they're just reading the blockchain, BTC
the spot
blockchain,
market.
or if that includes all the futures too. I'm guessing it includes includes somewhere in between that. But
I don't think it does.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And so when Saylor goes and buys $5 billion of Bitcoin, and the daily amount is 83 billion, it's, it fits right in. It's like, it's like when your coin is running and people are selling on it, and you sell the volume, you don't need that much liquidity. Anyway, let me get myself off the screen here and get to patient zero. I know I had your guys' website up here the other day, but I can't seem to find it again. Patient zero, the first token on the Infinity swap, on the Infinian blockchain. Their new DEX, Infinity Swap, is out. It's trading Patient Zero. Patient Zero is, from what I can tell, doing well. It launched at, my chart is, for some reason, I don't know if maybe one of you guys have this all, but on all of my charts, doesn't matter who is the provider right now, because they all eventually come from TradingView. It cuts off the pricing over on the right side, and so I can't actually read the prices anymore. Doesn't matter what website; they're all the same. But anyway, if I'm reading the open and closes, it's gone from 0.01 cents at launch, 0.001, and now we're at 0.006. So we've 15x'd it since launch. Congratulations to Patient Zero for doing that.
Did you get in on it? Anywhere?
No, I did not.
Oh, nice. That sucks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Extreme Car Care. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Oh, I got the wrong. Let me get this guy up here. Patient Zero. I sent you a chart on it. It's a little different. It's the only DEX, the only reporting site that they're on right now.
All right. Yeah, I was looking for somebody.
Extreme Car Care. Mr. Manchester pushing the CTO community takeover. Jesus, the Lord and Savior, says, doing great with PZ0, Patient Zero.
Right here. Is this it right here?
Yep.
Sphinx Labs.
That's it.
Okay.
AI Alpha Wolf says, I'm officially the dev of CTOD, the CTO. Please help support. Grab a bag, don't grab a bag, but come hang out and play with my Solbay 2.0 AI, the one and only beta tester for that full version. We'll check that out later there, Alpha Wolf. Praise to Jesus.
Here we go.
Anyway, while Pedro is doing his chart magic on the Patient Zero chart, earlier I asked this question of Pedro. Why is XRP, when it was independent of Bitcoin, then just comes right back and pulls the Bitcoin, I should just say pulls bitch to Bitcoin dominance. And the answer with Pedro, just I'll sum it up, is that, well, something started happening in Asia, the institutions followed along and moved the entire market.
No, that's not. No. You just, what happened is.
I need a two-sentence summary of that.
Okay, two-sentence summary is institutions bought until they had the right percentage level, and then they brought it back to Bitcoin. So they need enough so that they control it. So when they sell Bitcoin, they can also sell off with the right percentage levels. Institutions is the way all institutions work.
But so something started at basically the Asian Open yesterday, about 2 hours before it started, about 6:30 Eastern time. The sell-off started, and then at some point in there, the institution said, "Okay, we've got enough of all of these. Let's just dump the whole basket, move the market down."
No, what they did was they knew certain things were going to happen and with institutional buyers and sellers. So they went through and they basically set it up knowing that, okay, NVIDIA, deep, which we talked about this, and I said this is going to be something that's going to move the market. We don't know exactly how, but be paying attention to this, right? They saw that NVIDIA, which is basically the juggernaut of the S&P 500, right, was being threatened. Their dominance was being threatened. And so what happened was they needed to descale. They needed deleverage off of, remember back in the day when we were talking about why GAME and why GME, right, GameStop, and the movie
AMC.
AMC, the reason why it really moved the market was because you have all these leverage mechanisms that were the base. They were the ones creating the cash. So every time GameStop would sell off, they will then able to take that money, leverage it with other widespread stocks, right? And so that's what they use as these. And from a fundamental level, GameStop as well as AMC were not, from a fundamental level, not strong. Okay. Now, since then, we've actually, like the institution said, all right, there's a new mechanism that we need to pay attention to. It's called nostalgia, because we don't want this to happen again. So they are smart and they look at social media platforms. They actually, I found this out, they actually pay people to find out, like, if we short this stock, who's going to fight against us? Right? Are we going to have another GameStop? Are we going to have another GME situation or AMC situation? I'm not joking. Like, it's literally, they're now paying attention to this.
No,
so
I'm laughing because it's the longest 2 sentences I've heard in my life.
Look, there is no such thing as a 2 cent. You're asking a stupid ass question. I'm not just. You're like saying, hey, how do you raise a baby?
It's true,
bro. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you, like, I can honestly, I'll be disingenuous. People sold the market. People are buying the market. There you go. 2 sentences.
Let's re-rack that. While Pedro is drawing lines on the patient zero chart, doing some interpretation for it, I'm going to provide you with 10 seconds of filler that no one's really going to listen to anyway. That was more along my point.
Right. All right. Good point. All
right. The host so fills it. Nobody listened.
No, you did a great job. I love it when you do that. It allows my rants to not sound
Only Up. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us again on YouTube. Thanks, Only Up. Only Up. You're not working today. You're not doing your job because it's not only up today. It's mostly only down. Dazza1, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Get your friend Only Up there working. He's slacking or she's slacking, whomever.
That's funny.
Do your job, buddy. You need to have the Fed behind you with the infinite money machine, printing machine. Yeah, I see your patient zero is doing well, so you're working well with that.
All right, here we go. So the first one, we hit new highs, which is good, on patient zero. So it's nice. I'm not really seeing a lot of buyer seller wicks per se. I want to see those wicks important, but sometimes you can't understand. It's only 122 market cap, still a baby with only about 4,000 volume, liquidity sitting at about 22,000. So you have about a 20% 20,
Yeah, a
maybe
little under that.
19, 18. Yeah,
Pretty good.
15%. Yeah. So again, you're still going to be playing really kind of hopscotch here, hopping a couple things. So with this same movement, it's got to stay above the that 4. Like we've got to see it. Like you can see how it's playing off of this. I can't get the 8. It's really probably, can I get 8-hour? 480? Nope. So it's just, this is what we're playing off of right now. I would love to see kind of over the next run here. That's why I was like, wait, something's going on here. Look at you consider me. All right. Okay. So you can see here that this area right here is potentially kind of a area where we could see some good volume come in. About if it does pull back to this level, we did the normal. We went up, right? Pushed up. We went to a new high. People are selling off. So where is it going to pull back to? You got a couple of spots here. If it doesn't hold here, then my next spot here is really just looking at this per se. Sorry, I got this song stuck in my head. You guys are hearing it. So this is the next spot here that I could see saying, okay, we're finding support, and that's at that 00225 to the 00209. These are areas that I would encourage you to really, when it comes to your extension area here, we could see this thing rally because it broke the 50 area here. If this thing does continue, we find support on that 8-period moving average on the 4-hour, then I'd expect to see, if it finds support, you'll see it consolidate, and we'll wait for the 8-hour, because this is the 8-hour period moving average, even though it's the 4-hour 20. But you want to see this kind of come up into this level here, and then expect it to see it continue up into that 1 cent area, which would, I think, if we're sitting at 6, it would be maybe 200,000 market cap here at that level, at the 1 cent area. So somebody paying attention to that, and I think like at that level, you would then see another pullback, and then kind of see what happens after that. So that's in a nutshell when it comes to Sphinx Labs. Sphinx Lab is the lab or the blockchain that is from...
No, Sphinx Labs is just the reporting website. They're applying for DEX tools and DEX screener.
So Infineon...
Yeah, I think that's the Infineon issue, because they have to get their blockchain recognized by the larger websites, which I'm sure takes money. And then back in the day, those websites would add things as fast as possible. But now they're like, wait a minute, everyone wants to come here and see your projects? Cough up the monies. And that's one of the reasons why we faded on, fading on Mainnet Z.
Yep.
That they never got their stuff listed on DEX tools or DEX screener and stuff. And I was like, well, if you can't get on there, then
you're not.
You can't go around saying that you're a major, newest and best blockchain. Because nobody's going to take you seriously. Well, unless you've got a 10-year plan like Cardano or something like that, then it's different. Then
I was going to say, yeah.
But if you're throwing meme coins out there, and you got to get on the big thing. So Infineon
is doing it.
Get your keysters together. Get on the major reporting sites. But you guys, thanks for turning up from patient zero. We're still super early. That's what everybody always says. We're still early. We're still early in Bitcoin. We're still early in all the AI tokens that went up so drastically and then crashed like crazy over the past week.
which we're going to go check out because it hit many of our areas that we were expecting them to come down to. So whoop whoop, we'll probably go over that stuff tomorrow. So it's looking nice. I always say, just wait, it will pull back. Always, man. Always. I mean, it got to, because here's the thing, man. There's so much money going to the markets, man. It's always got to pull back. People make money, they sell off, and the institutions come in and buy it back. It's just how they work, man. It's the same game now. It's literally, it used to be a little bit different. Crypto used to be a little bit more technical TA status, but now the institutions are there. They're playing the same old games, playing with y'all emotions, and then turning you around and kicking the butt and sending you away sad. Like, it's what they do.
Infineon Jim, Mr. Bitzel says, thanks, boys. You're welcome there, son.
Brother, thank you for coming again, man. You rock the mic. I don't care what those people say about you. I think you're awesome. No, bro, I'm just joking. I had a foster brother who used to always say that to me. And I used to always kind of crack and be like, you're such a jerk. But I'd walk away kind of chuckling, you know, like just tell some kid, I don't care what those people say about you.
You Infineon people and Patient Zero people don't get the point of this marketing stuff here. When we're talking about your project, have some fire, some powder in your keg there, as they say, and buy the project so that shows some green candles. The most two recent things on your chart are sells during our show. This little, if you look at it closer time, the chart I'm looking at, the little red thing here got longer during our show.
I don't care.
Longer. Should be shorter and green. You guys should have that stuff ready to go. Throw a Hyundai in there. Quick Benji, make it green. And then, when it's going green, then you clip the video out from the live stream here. And then you social media that. And it shows the going green, which causes FOMO. And then brings us viewers too. See, it's a free, this is how it works.
Win-win. But I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Most people are knuckleheads, man. Like, that's the problem. Right? Like, most people don't even think things, process things through, right? Like, they don't use their craziness for themselves, right? They just let it, like, you know how much energy is given into craziness? If you learn to control your craziness, meaning your FOMO, right? Or your exuberance, you can utilize, because it's so, your energy level pops up, bro. Your cellular system starts to really ramp up energy. That's why you get all like, all right, here we go, right? If you learn how to focus that with your fervency, yo, you could totally blow this up. But most people don't. They don't think things through. They don't understand how the body gets excited. Anyways,
Wolf, I think you missed out when Pedro was talking about XRP a few minutes ago. He was asking what your buying point was, and I to be honest, I can't remember where your line was.
Oh, it's all good. It's right here. We'll just go over here again. XRP. If I'm going to be buying it, right, I'm expecting it to kind of come back and tap that 240 area. Got close here. That 240, 220 area, and potentially down at that 195, like 190, 185-ish area. So we'll see what happens after that. And then if we come down there, I would expect to see it really kind of just consolidate and then push back up to the next level as we continue higher. Yep, that's it for that. And then for Bitcoin, I thought we were first going to go up. I was like almost positive. We saw the volume pick up, right? Boom, on this day. And I said, oh, this thing's baby is going to get going. And man, I was so sad when I started to see the sellers coming. I was like, no, don't. It was like, sad day. No, go away. But sure enough, if I start to see it's moving up with no buyer wicks, right? And then we start to see it consolidate, and it's like, freaking hey, man. All right, I guess we're going down, right? They got the fill. Or they need more buyers because too many people are buying at these high levels. So they've got to drop it off. They've got to fill those those buy orders with sell orders, and so they drop it, and then they play the whole entire market maker spasm situation, get people to freak out emotionally. Anyways, yeah, how do I say that without being rude? That's really hard because I just realized how rude that sounded. But it's the truth, though. I mean, I've got to learn how to be more nicer in my...
More nicer. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be on all week here at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, Technical Tuesday. Talk about charts. And then Wednesday and Thursday as normal. And Pedro will be doing it. Did you do it? I tried to tune in to Full Rant Friday.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
The other day.
Absolutely.
And both times I tried, I came in. You were the only one there. And
I didn't see you even come in.
And you were the only one there. And it was just like your voice thing was just playing. And I tried to, I didn't telegram you. I shouldn't have. But it just seemed like it had rugged. And I had kept coming in during the rug period or whatever. So I gave up.
Oh, dude. It kept messing up, bro. I didn't know if I was just being like rugged. I started it over, I didn't start it over. I kept it going, but I was trying to I should have reached out to you. I dropped it there. A couple people came in. At first I thought maybe I was being shadow banned because I had a little bit of music playing in the background. But I was like, I don't think they can really hear that.
They don't do that. People play full rock concerts on X. And...
Literally, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of sad, but I had it going for about an hour and a half. Oh no, about an hour. I just had it. It was just me. I had one guy come in, and I was like, "Come on up, man. It's just me," And it was he was there maybe 2 minutes, and then bounced. So I was there for about an hour. So yeah, but it's all good, man. We just keep it open. If people don't come, they don't come. Either way, it's there. We're there Friday afternoons, basically around 12:30, 1:30 ish. And then if it goes longer, it goes longer. If it doesn't, then hey, we bounce like a rubber ball on a playground. Go. That could be a t-shirt. It's time to bounce like a red rubber ball on a grade school playground.
All right, tomorrow we'll... You know what, guys? I got behind on the comments here. Alpha Wolf says, grab... Oh boy, I messed that up. Oh, that's why I got my things out of order here.
I hate it when I get my things out of order. What's really interesting is I, this morning, put in, it's going to sound crazy, in my concoction here, the lemon-flavored omega-3s. Dude, I couldn't believe how... Dude, it added such a spectacular taste. I was like, Ana Maria, ¿por qué, Ana Maria?
Whatever you're singing on this end of the microphone, it sounds like you're squealing cats when your phone rings.
Ana Maria.
Alpha Wolf loved your prediction there for XRP. He says, but when you called the 191 or something, he goes, that's further than I thought. That's just one of Pedro's zones. It may not get down there, but if it breaks through the one before it, that's the likely next one.
Yeah.
Drinking, what does he say? Ayahuasca? I don't know what.
Ayahuasca. No. Ayahuasca. Nah. It's just fruit, like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. And then I grind up my own seasonings. So I use cinnamon, and that is not capsaicin, cinnamon. It's a specific type of cinnamon with like nutmeg, little stuff, and I break it down. I actually grind up some other stuff, and oh man, it's so good. throw in, dude, I throw in like 2 scoops of beet powder with honey, bro. I do a spoonful of honey with a little bit of what do you call? Why am I forgetting what it's called? Maple syrup. And then I do with the maple syrup. Then I do instantized 2 scoops of instantized creatine, right? That helps out with that. And then the omega-3s. And then I throw in a little bit of and then I cook up 4 eggs, and I put a bunch of seasonings on those with garlic and oh my dear Lord. It's just
we made it
amazing.
to the. I've got on the screen here next to Pedro. We did make it to the crypto. You can see our little thumbnail there on the thing. At 8 viewers currently, and the top one only has 11. Oh no, the top one has 77 recent highlights in the crypto world on crypto. I don't. This person must be new. I don't know who it is. Oh,
I'm kind of hurt. I'm kind of hurt by Rumble there. They won't put us up here. Breaks my heart a little. Come on, man. We giving you top quality stuff here. I mean, we've got a whole entire studio.
This is it. This thing isn't even talking. It's from 4 days ago. It says January 23rd. It's just frozen. There's 90 viewers. Not giving out. I thought maybe it was my system, but nope. It's from a couple of days ago. It's been streaming 92 hours. You know what we're gonna do is I can't even report it. See, that's a scam. They just put a woman up in the front of it and say crypto, and then they have all these views.
Brilliant.
The channel gets the views.
You know what we need to do? Is honestly, I was going to talk to you about this. Have something like Soul Bay, right? And we live stream her. And she just basically reads the top news. We give her like 15 feeds of news that she just simply reads, right? And she just does that constantly. We have her streaming nonstop on our show. Well, and then we have our show, and then we bring her back on, and she just does the crypto news. Like, I've literally thought about that,
Right.
and talked. I've actually, yeah, dude, we would all of a sudden explode, and then we come on and be like, "Who are these, Joker? Put on that girl who's the AI agent."
Who are these jokers?
And you know, but I mean, the thing is I think that would actually work. I was going to talk to you about that because I was like, you know, we've seen it with ourselves when we were doing 6-hour days, 8-hour days in front of this thing. We saw our numbers jump. I mean, literally, we were getting 100+ people, right, on every single platform easily. And there were times when we got up to 400 or 500 people. So maybe we should do something like that. You know, why not?
Sure, Alpha Wolf will be like, yeah, put her on.
Mm-hmm. Visually, I think she would. What's up?
I'm just reading Jesus's comments.
Oh yeah, I love it. He's a riot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go. All right, Jesus.
On the screen
Quick
over there
question
is Carmen Crypto's Crypto Chit Chat. It's from a long time ago. Just put that up there because I wanted to point out that, Carmen, if you're listening, we need you to do a couple of new episodes of that. Your playlist has been getting some views, and you haven't done a new one in a while. So a new one, maybe we'll fire it up and get her going.
Well, she was down to start to do more of the shows in the evening. You know what I'm saying? Maybe me and her could start something.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing that outro. You know what that means. It's the end of the day. What did we learn today? We learned today that I'm not even going to say it. There's tool. I can't possibly redo it in 2 sentences, so I'm not going to try and say what we learned. How do you raise a baby? I don't know. It's complicated.
That's complicated. How do you raise a baby? I like it. In 2 sentences, how do you raise a baby? It's complicated. Yo, that's the new stupid questions on the back. How to raise a baby.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, on Twitch, and on Kick. All the usual spots. We've been giving LinkedIn a break lately because they haven't been good to us. They're just making their platform too difficult to stream at. But rumor has it they're going to be changing up their system, so maybe we'll spend more time over there in the future.
Who is this?
From the great DYOR intergalactic headquarters here in space. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Jesus, you get the last comment of the day. See you tomorrow. I'll be there.